Good news is, even though I was all sick, I was already scheduled to be off for the week, so it wasn't a big deal. No, I don't have anything scheduled. Usually the people that come over to my place for New Year's, she's doing a residency hospital. So she has to work New Year's, which is a bummer. Yeah. Getting paid well, but that also, I mean, when you're doing that job, you understand it comes with the territory. Life-saving work does not stop for holidays. No. Let me send this message in the chat. Dude, I didn't expect them to still be alive. They're alive in that fucking Giants game yesterday. Drew Lock was partially my savior. I hope they start Tyrod Taylor, dude. I hope for the love of God they do. Because it just looks so much better. I mean, obviously, organizationally, they're not going to be tanking. There's coaches that need jobs. So, they're not going to be trying to tank organizationally. But I need that, but I also need Carson Wentz. So, yeah. The Broncos. The Chiefs play the Broncos. I need the Chiefs to win. The Broncos win, nothing else matters. That's it. If the Broncos lose, also need the Dolphins to lose. But the first thing, Saturday night is the Bengals. Ravens played before them. If the Ravens win, then nothing the Steelers does matter. Well, depends if you want to go to Baltimore or go to Houston. I guess that's what matters. I would much rather go to Houston. Man, if I have to see Houston in the playoffs and Miami in the playoffs, that's going to be so depressing. That's just a waste of a week. Well, Houston's going to win the South, so they're going to host the game. But if Denver loses and Miami wins, it's Miami. Yeah. I don't know. Beat the New England Patriots is what I would say, but I guess they couldn't do that. There's like 15 different things they could have done differently, and they'd have one more win, and it would be a win-win scenario. Beat the Patriots. Don't drop a field goal hold. Get the 2-point conversion against Baltimore. Don't have Evan McPherson miss every kick. I mean, they shot themselves in the dick so many times. What are you going to do? All right, you ready? All right, we'll go one more. So 20 seconds, one more thing in the song. All right, about 10 seconds. All right. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome back to the Prop Shop. I'm your host, Bobby Stanley, also known as PropHolliday on social media, rocking with the GoldBoys. Tons of stuff to go over tonight. We got an awesome Monday Night Football game. We got an NBA slate. I'm going to talk some Super Bowl contenders. But I want to say I've been out for the last week. The show has been a no-go for me. I was in the hospital with my daughter. She had RSV, which sucked. She's okay now. There's no sympathy drawing here. I'm not engagement farming, none of that shit. But I was in the hospital all week for Christmas. And kind of sucked. Kind of sucked, man. Not gonna lie. But the show was on a hiatus, and I want to say thank you to the guys at GoldBoys, NJ, Tone, all of them Very, very understanding and appreciative. And thanks for you guys for understanding why I was not on. But the show goes on. Everyone is well now. We can put that behind us. I want to talk Super Bowl contenders for you as we are ending week 17, and things are starting to solidify a bit as far as the Super Bowl is concerned. I'm on Bet365 now, just looking at Super Bowl odds. I have a theory when it comes to NFL playoffs and Super Bowl specifically. If you have the better quarterback and you have the better head coach, I think you win the game. It's not necessarily the better team, it's the better quarterback and the better head coach. And we saw that in the Super Bowl the last few years with Patrick Mahomes. He was an underdog playing against San Fran. They were the better head coach. They were the better quarterback. And the reason I emphasize that so much is it's not the NBA. It's not the MLB. It's not a 7-game or 5-game series. It is one game. And in one game, I do think the better head coach and the quarterback can get it done. So just looking at Bet365, these odds may vary depending on book, but I like 365 for this. Kansas City is obviously the favorite. They're plus 360. They have the best head coach and quarterback tandem in the NFL. Defensively, they're playing some of the best ball in the league. They're getting a couple of these skill guys back, Marquise Hollywood Brown. So the Chiefs should be at plus 360, roughly 3.5, 4-1. They should be your favorite. Lions plus 450. Gets a little wishy-washy for me. Goff has been to a Super Bowl before. No, he's never won one. Campbell, overly aggressive. It's kind of what he's made his name for. They have been, I would say, the best regular season team all season, but they're starting to get banged up late. The David Montgomery thing matters. Obviously, the defensive side of the ball, they're just throwing guys in off the street at some point. Lions plus 450. That quarterback head coach combo for me, with how the team is banged up at plus 450, I wouldn't put my money there, especially in the NFC. Buffalo Bills, 5-1. You got McDermott, you got Josh Allen. Now, Josh Allen, even though he's never been to a Super Bowl or won a Super Bowl, playing the best football of his career, he is the MVP for me. McDermott, I'm not sold on as much. So I look at the Lions and Bills. These are obvious top three in terms of odds. I wouldn't put them up there in terms of Super Bowl. Oh my God, I have to hammer this just because McDermott, I don't think is that great of a coach. And then Dan Campbell, I think he can be out coach. I'll say that. And then when you factor in some of the injuries, it scares me a little bit in the NFC. Baltimore Ravens plus 650. They're a team I would roll the dice on. Lamar Jackson looks, I mean, this is the best season of his career. And that's why that's even a discussion with Josh Allen right now. And then Harbaugh, I think, is one of the better coaches in the league. Philadelphia Eagles plus 650. Not for me. I'm getting roasted on Twitter. They think I'm anti-Philly. I'm not anti-Philly, even though I'm a Jersey guy, and most of us are anti-Philly. Nick Sirianni is not a good coach. He is not a good football coach. I do not think he is. I think the offense has looked drastically different since Shane Steichen left. And then they get Saquon Barkley, and that has made them look significantly better. But Nick Sirianni has made mistakes, will make mistakes, and I think can get out coached. I wouldn't put them in my Super Bowl bracket. Minnesota Vikings plus 850, and this is where it gets wishy-washy. Kevin O'Connell should win, will win Coach of the Year. But Sam Darnold, I don't know what to make of him. In his first appearance in playoff football, I'd be weary, but at plus 850, we're getting a little interesting here. But that would be something I consider there. And now we're going to talk about my other head coach and wide receiver stuff. Packers at plus 1,500. I don't think Jordan Love looks the same as he did last season. They're not going to get the Dallas Cowboys in the first round they did last year. They scare me a little bit. Rams at 25-1. Yes, I'm a Rams fan. No, I'm not hiding this. But second to Mahomes and Reed is Matt Stafford and Sean McVay. And that defense is playing extremely well. Yes, they're young, but they've poached 3 games with 10 and under points. Now, that's been some weather-related issues, some cold-related issues. But they're playing some of the best football in the league at the right time with the best head coach, with the second best head coach quarterback combo at 25-1. A couple 35-1s out there, 31s. Bucks 30-1. Baker, Todd Bowles, yes. Rest of that team, not so much. This is my sleeper for the Super Bowl. 35-1. You can get the Los Angeles Chargers, and you can get Harbaugh and Herbert. And defensively, they got Khalil Mack and Bosa rushing the ball. They got rushing the passer. They got Derwin James back there. I'm putting some money on the Chargers at 35-1. It may only be $50, but they may be a team that I think can actually win the Super Bowl, or at least be in the AFC Championship. If you can get to the AFC Championship game, you can start talking hedge scenarios. But if you're looking for 2 dark horses in terms of value, in terms of head coach quarterback combos, both teams in Los Angeles, one in the AFC, one in the AFC. 25-1 on the Rams, 35-1 on the Chargers. I would rather bet on them than the Eagles. I'd rather bet on them than the Lions, as banged up as they are. So two teams to consider if you're looking for some long shots as we head into Week 18. Who's talking shit about Puka? I saw Puka's name in there. Shut Puka down, you shut down the Rams. What about Kyron Williams? Damn it. No, you're not going to get out coached. Sean McVay will not be out coached. I'll say that much. And it is very tough shutting down Puka. You still have Cooper Kupp, who has not been playing as well, but they have weapons there. They have been playing extremely well, not offensively. A couple reasons for that, but defensively, they're getting after it with those young guys. Kupp's involvement last game was disgusting. I would say his last two games were disgusting, but you're right. Let's talk about tonight. Let's talk about Monday Night Football. The Lions are 3.5-point favorites on the road. San Francisco against the San Francisco 49ers. Totals at 50.5, 49.5, depending what book you're on. Lions are fighting for the number one seed again. It's only temporarily because they're ending the week 17, but Minnesota's win puts them atop of division, puts them number one overall in the NFC. The Lions will be the one seed if they can beat the Vikings next week, or if they beat the 49ers and tie the Minnesota Vikings. I do think they're going to try tonight. I don't think there's any reason for them to fold it in. It's not in Dan Campbell's personality. For the 49ers, season's pretty much over for them. I actually think it's going to be the end of this iteration of the 49ers, whether that means Deebo's gone, whether that means Shanahan's gone. There's going to be, how do they handle the Purdy contract? There's going to be a different looking San Francisco 49ers next season. I'm pretty confident of that. But I don't expect them to roll over dead. I do expect them to finish strong and really, give a shit, especially at home. I don't know if this is their last home game of the season. I'll have to double check. But prime time, Shanahan, if he's going to go off, if he's going to go out in the sunset, don't expect it to be on a loss. Let's talk about a few insights courtesy of NFL Pro. And these two are also specific to player props tonight. Since the first game without Aiden Hutchinson, the Lions blitz on 41% of dropbacks. That's the second highest in the NFL, I believe, in that span. The 49ers allow pressure on 50% of blitz. That's the fifth highest rate in the league. So something to keep an eye on from a blitz perspective. On the flip side of that, the 49ers blitz the second lowest rate in the league. And when Goff is not blitzed, he has the second most yards per attempt, the third highest completion percentage in the league. So the game could be shaping up well for Jared Goff in the passing category. Let's talk about on the ground. Jahmyr Gibbs has gained 10 plus yards rushing on 16% of his carries. That's the highest explosive run rate in the league for running backs or players with at least 100 design rush attempts. The 49ers defense allows the fourth lowest explosive run rate. May not be a game for Jahmyr Gibbs in terms of those big stretch plays. Goal line's a different story. But Goff in a good position. Jahmyr Gibbs, maybe not, just looking at the metrics. Let's talk about my first play for tonight. Guy mentioned about a bit in the top. Don't know if he's going to be a 49er next year, but Deebo Samuel, over 47.5 receiving yards. You still be able to get this long. Played up to 49.5 for one unit. He had 89 last week against the Miami Dolphins. I'm sorry, he had 89 last season against Detroit, and the Lions allow. He had 89 last season against Detroit. This season, the Lions allow the third most yards after catch to opposing wide receivers. That's Deebo's wheelhouse right there, is the yak. Most receiving yards to opposing wide receivers all season. He'll continue to be like this gadget out wide backfield Swiss Army. Remember Percy Harvin for the older guys? A little bit of Percy Harvin in there. Since this offense has kind of been bereft of a spark since Christian McCaffrey was gone. So those swing passes, those screens, I expect to see a lot more of them. Lions, highly motivated, so I think a good chance that San Fran is playing from behind at some point. Samuels can eat up the yak underneath. This number's too low for me. He had 96 yards against a way better secondary in the Miami Dolphins last week. I'm going to expect more of that. Give me Deebo Samuel over 47.5 receiving yards for minus 110 and one unit. I don't know if I've told this story on here before. I probably have. I was at the Super Bowl 2 or 3 years ago. Or I was at for Pickswise. I'm sorry, for Dimers when I was working with them. They sent me out to cover the Rams Bengals Super Bowl. I was at a DraftKings Super Bowl party. No one real famous was there. A couple guys from NFL Network. You go, you do the little buffet thing, you get your free beers. Me and my wife kind of kept to ourselves. I did get shoulder to shoulder with Deebo Samuel. We were like kind of walking. He was walking out of the green room. I was walking towards the green room. Not that big. Not that big of a guy. I'm 5'11", 190, 185. He was 5'11", 5'10", probably 220, brick shit house. Big ass on Deebo Samuel. But I was shocked how small he was, and he keeps shitting on the Rams. So good for me. Before we go into my second play of the night, I want to talk about FanDuel. We got a couple plays on for touchdown odds. FanDuel always has the best touchdown odds. FanDuel's making it easy to get in on the action. Bet $5, get 150 in bonus bets if you win. 3 months of NBA League Pass is included in that. It's that simple. Click the link in the episode description and jump in. You must be 21 plus to take part. You have a gambling problem, call or text 1-800-GAMBLER. Get League Pass. I love League Pass. If you bet NBA, if you love NBA, especially at the end of NFL season, now's the time to do it. Get 3 months. Get that last 3 months of the NBA regular season. Get April, March, and February. And then you're set. You're set for NBA for the rest of the year. So sign up with FanDuel if you haven't already. It's a good deal. I do have an NBA play for tonight. My guy Dennis Schroeder, the new Golden State Warrior, over 4.5 assists. I got it at -130. Saw a couple -125s, a couple -135s. I'll eat the juice on this. He's hit this in 2 of 5 with Steph in the lineup, but tough matchups in 3 of those misses. Minnesota and Phoenix defensively, they're a tough out on any night. Looking at potential assists since being a Warrior with Steph Curry, he's had 8, 9, 10, 9, and 13 potentials. It isn't apples to apples. I'm sorry. So he's had all those potentials. The Cavs, tough defensively on paper. And that comes down. They're a little bit less defensively. Isaac Okoro's out of the lineup. Dean Wade gets the start. So I'm looking at recent point guards against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jamal Murray, Russell Westbrook, Colin Sexton all hit their assist mark against Cleveland, despite how good they are in the paint. They struggle at that around the perimeter, around the arc area. So as a member of the Nets, he had 5 assists on 13 potentials. That was this season. No, it's not apples to apples, but I went back and watched some of those assists. It's drive and kick out to the perimeter. Drive and kick, navigating around the baseline, kick it out to the perimeter. He's going to have a lot of opportunities because this Cavaliers team, 17th in spot up defense, and they struggled to defend above the break threes. That's that backcourt of Donovan Mitchell and Darius Garland. So this number's still low enough. I'll eat the juice, and I think we see some Buddy Hield tonight. Hopefully, Draymond Green lit a fire under his ass, telling him to wake up. But we should see some open looks for Buddy Hield for 3. I got Dennis Schroeder over 4.5 assists. Eat the juice at -130. Before we go into the touchdown liquor cabinet, which I've missed, a couple words to my boy Brad Thomas.
Wait, before we get back to the picks, I wanted to thank you all for watching. Friends don't let friends watch videos without hitting the like button. So go ahead and press the thumbs up button and like the video. If you're new here and not subscribed, you should go ahead and do so because we're dropping new content each and every day on the GoldBoys Network. We strive to cover every sport and give out picks and analysis and valuable information for free on the GoldBoys Network. So make sure you're subscribed and hit the bell so you can get notified when we drop something new. I'm Brad Thomas. Let's get back to the picks.
My favorite segment of the show. It's a touchdown liquor cabinet. And we have a total of 49 and a half, 50 and a half. Good day for some touchdowns, and I got a full liquor cabinet. I got a 1-unit top shelf for you. It's +180, Deebo Samuel. He lined up a season high 11 times in the backfield last week against Miami. We talked about the yak. We talked about them playing from behind. I'm getting nearly 2-1 on Deebo Samuel. Yes, there's Juwan Jennings. Yes, there's Ricky Pearsall and George Kittle. I still think Deebo is in for a big workload tonight, both out of the backfield and spread out wide. Giving me 2-1 on Deebo and this total and this defense, which is weak. I'm putting 1 unit on it. So Deebo Samuel is my top shelf. Going to the mid shelf, my mid-tier guys are both on Detroit. I got Sam Laporta on +220, Jamison Williams +200, and I think I use a 10% odd boost on Fanatics to get Laporta to +220. But it's still 2-1 on each of these guys. I'm going half a unit on Laporta, half a unit on Jamison Williams. Anytime I get either of these guys at 2-1, especially with no David Montgomery eating up those red zone carries, and the 49ers defense has not been the same all season, I'm going to pull the trigger. High total, no Monty, less explosive plays from Jahmyr Gibbs, because what we talked about with this 49ers defense in terms of rushing explosive plays. Give me Laporta and Jamison Williams, half a unit each, at over 2-1 or at 2-1, depending on your book. So give me those two guys in the mid shelf. Well, Vaca's fun. I thought about going, sorry, my nose is itchy as shit. I thought about going Deebo for 2 touchdowns. It's 13-1 on FanDuel. I didn't go that route. I put him in a round robin for the guys over at the for the prop shop. Jermar Jefferson. That's Jermar Jefferson, 15-1 on FanDuel. He's the third string running back, California kid, California native. He's from LA. They are playing in San Fran, but it's like a 3-4 hour drive. He should have some family in attendance in this. He's the third back behind Craig Reynolds. He's got all the coach speak, all the team praise. He had 3 carries last week. He had 1 reception. If this game gets out of hand, we may get more Jamar Jeffries. Even if it doesn't get out of hand, I would play him in those sparing carries over Jahmyr Gibbs and possibly in goal line situations. He's a bit of a bigger back. So Jamar Jefferson, 0.1 unit, $5, $10, nothing crazy at 15-1 to get in the end zone. It'd be cool to see him score in front of his family. Before we go, I want to talk about the cross sport parlay. I love this. It's second to my touchdown liquor cabinet in terms of fun. We hit one of these. A lot of them have been in contention. They're usually anywhere from 20-1 to 40-1, and I put about a quarter of a unit. Today, I had a $50 bonus bet on Fanatics from 2 nights ago that I haven't used yet. I put this together. 3 legs plus 22.40. If you don't have a $50 bonus bet, put a quarter of a unit on this. Ricky Purcell, 35 plus receiving yards. He had 37 last week, again against that better, much better Dolphins secondary. And the blitz rate should get Purdy with the ball getting out of his hands much quicker on slants. Give me Purdy, 35 receiving yards. Going over to NBA, PJ Washington, double-double. 6 double-doubles this season with Luka out of the lineup. Rui just had one against Sacramento on December 21st, so fairly recently. There is also no Kyrie tonight. Not sure what that does with no Luka and no Kyrie. It's probably going to be a big dose of Spencer Dinwiddie and Klay Thompson, but I like PJ Washington double-double if you want to have some fun. 2+3s, 3+3s. PJ Washington's probably going to be scoring a ton tonight, but it's double-double fits in here. And then James Harden, double-double. Assist lines at 8.5, playing a Pelicans team ranked 28th in opponent assists. Hasn't had a double-double in a while. It's a great spot for him. I think it's like plus 140 depending on the book. These 3 legs, Purcell 35, PJ Washington double-double, James Harden double-double, 22-1. I'm putting my $50 bonus bet on there. It pays $1,100. If you put a quarter of a unit, you put $20, you can get a decent return, 440, 500, something like that. So this is my lineup for you tonight. Dennis Schroeder over 4.5 assists. Deebo Samuel already over 47.5 receiving yards. No, I do not think I can go over receiving yards despite my measurable match with Deebo Samuel. We got the touchdown liquor cabinet fully loaded and the cross-sport parlay. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I apologize for the absence. And if I don't see you, have a happy and safe new year. No drinking and driving. Take care.